Hello and welcome to another episode of the InTheStudioUK Podcast. My name's Chloe. I'm joined this week by the amazing LOUISE Harris. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So for anyone that hasn't come across your music before, what can they expect to hear from the stuff you've released so far?
So I've only got 2 singles out on streaming platforms so far. The first one is like an EDM collaboration with a Dutch DJ called Oscar. So that's like kind of like a club dancey song, which is quite nice. And then the other song that I've got released is one which is completely my own. It's not a collaboration. And that one is Dating Me is like a Cambridge term. So from the title, you can probably tell it's a little bit of a quirky song. It's kind of like an acoustic pop song. About like toxic relationships and just sort of like self-mockery. And I think that song, compared to the EDM one, that's more representative of like my music and what you can expect to come in the future.
Yeah, I was going to say, did the EDM track, did that sort of push you out of your comfort zone from straight away, or is it kind of a genre that you're interested in outside of releasing your own music?
So I love, not necessarily EDM, but I love house music, dance music, and kind of dance pop. So I don't think I was completely out of my comfort zone. But yeah, I enjoy writing top lines for dance music. I was approached by Oscar, like his manager, to do that sort of collaboration. So since then I have been approached by other people. So that is something that I do enjoy doing. And some of my own songs, like my original songs, I also envisage like having a sort of dance house kind of production to it. So I think it's definitely part of like, I guess, my versatility. I do enjoy doing it, but most of my music is a little bit more straight up pop or, ballads and not necessarily dance, but yeah. Did you what was it like collaborating on a track like that? You look to do more collaborations in the future, or is that something you're interested in doing more of? Yeah, so I have been approached by a few other people. So there's some songs that are kind of dance production in the pipeline. And yeah, I definitely would be interested. Like, for example, do you know the singer Ray?
Yeah, I recognise the name.
Yeah, she does a lot of, she releases her own stuff, but she also does a lot of dance music features. So I would be interested in that. But I just wouldn't want to pigeonhole myself in terms of like, that's my genre, like that's all I do. But no, I'm definitely open. I don't really like sticking to, I have to do this type of sound, this type of genre. I just write whatever I want, you know what I mean? And hopefully it's coherent enough.
Yeah, no, of course. Moving on to your second single, which I guess is why we we found you on TikTok. It's a hilarious song called Dating Me is like a Cambridge term. I absolutely love it. I just need to ask, what do you study at Cambridge? What I'm really interested to know.
Thank you. Can you guess what I study from the song? I don't know.
I mean, music would make sense, but then also any other subject you're at Cambridge, so
yeah. So I graduated 2 years ago. I studied psychology, PBS. So yeah, I didn't actually study music, but it was at Cambridge when I started songwriting. So that's when I kind of thought, I can pursue this as a career. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you play any instruments at all or anything, or do you just do the vocal lines?
Yeah, so I play piano. So on that single, that's me playing piano. I can't produce music. I did try, but it wasn't really my thing. So yeah, I get producers to sort of like change up the sounds and make it. That was an acoustic song, but for the more fully produced ones, they'll flesh it out into a full, instrumental and stuff. But yeah, I play piano, sing and songwrite. So yeah, that's how I write. Do you know what I mean? I use the piano. Sometimes I use a bit of guitar, but I'm really bad at actually playing guitar. So mainly piano.
Yeah, so that's really interesting. So would you like to explain what inspired you to write the song? I've seen you talk about it in other interviews, but it's a really interesting story.
Yeah, so what inspired me to write it? I don't usually kind of sit down and go, I'm going to write a song about X, Y, Z. Do you know what I mean? It normally just comes out of a feeling that I have at the time. I feel like the urge to write something, but for that particular song, it was like just a really late night. Like I couldn't sleep properly. I was quite stressed out. I just come out of like a toxic relationship, and I was just in this kind of weird mood, like creative but stressed. So I was kind of thinking about all the things he'd said about me in the relationship, and I was kind of writing down in my phone like kind of witty comebacks to try and, I don't know, like own it or whatever. And then I ended up it was like maybe 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning by the time I actually started writing the song. But yeah, I just kind of was on a roll, and I was like, I'm gonna just, completely take the piss. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this show.
No, go for it. That's completely fine.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to take the piss. And yeah, be kind of like, well, fuck you. You're not going to get me down by all the things that you've said. Like, no one's perfect. A lot of the things he said wasn't actually true, but I kind of, the point of the song is like, even if all of that is true, like, it doesn't matter. Like, your words just do not affect me. And yeah, it's kind of just laughing and mocking how ridiculous the things he said were, the whole relationship was. So yeah.
How did that then link to bringing in the idea of the Cambridge term and like hitting that 5th week? Heard it's brutal.
It is brutal, man. Yeah, it's a really intense 8-week term there. Actually, I think I've heard recently they're introducing a reading week to try and like combat that mental illness induced experience, which is good.
That might be necessary.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, how did I link it? I think because I was using a lot of similes, metaphors, analogies, and I think I was trying to, when I got to the chorus, I was like, okay, dating me is like that. I think that line kind of came to me, and I was like, well, what is it like? And I guess I kind of wanted something which showed like, yeah, you're going to be completely like emotionally screwed, and you're just gonna be so drained. And I don't know how I thought of it. Maybe it's just in the forefront of my mind because that's I had that experience myself. But yeah, I quite liked how there's a timeline. So like by the 5th week, like that's not very far into a relationship, but even at that point, like you're gonna be hit with just like really bad emotions and, do you know what I mean, a lot of shit basically. So yeah, that's basically it.
Definitely feels like it brings like a nice like personal touch to it, and like people can relate even if you don't go necessarily to Cambridge. You all know what Cambridge means in the university world, and also anyone can understand that burnout when you're about halfway through a term or a semester or whatever, or halfway through something and you just don't want to continue.
Yeah, exactly. I was surprised actually how well the song has done on, like, especially on TikTok. It just went viral before I released it. And yeah, like there are some people who are from Cambridge going like, oh my gosh, and actually I couldn't believe it, but I released it on TikTok like for the first time during week 5 during the Cambridge term. So I was like, how did I do that? I didn't even realize. So people
so
there,
perfect.
like, exactly. People were there just like, oh my gosh, I'm sat in my college room, just like, this is so relatable or whatever. But a lot of other people were obviously not from Cambridge. So yeah, I was really happy and surprised that, yeah, people just relate to it. I mean, it makes sense, because yeah, as you've just said, people know what it is about, or they can imagine. But yeah, I'm glad that I guess my first single that's just mine is, as you said, quite like personalized. Even the music video, I got to like do it as a kind of tribute to my experience in Cambridge. So yeah, really, really happy about that. Hello, my name is Louise Harris. I'm a pop singer-songwriter from Luton, and you're going to be listening to my song Dating Me is Like a Cambridge Term. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
All boys, they try to date me. They don't know that I'm crazy. I'm getting DMs daily, get a life. 'Cause although I like rejecting ugly mugs, I get too many cocky thugs who say I'm meant to be their wife. Okay. So go home, take off your Nikes, 'Cause dating me is like a Cambridge term. By the 5th week you are completely burnt out, emotionally destroyed and suicidal. It's like a job at an accountancy firm. You think you're stable, steady income, but when something goes wrong, guess who is liable? And if you think I'm full of shit, take one last look at your dick. 'Cause I'm an undiagnosed bitch. Dating me is like my previous ex. We had good sex, but then I finished him off. Oi, oi. I'd make him vex till he lose sense. Wasn't me who chopped it off. Wasn't me. I'd make him cry, then say goodbye like a cashier in Greg's. I'm so sorry, sir. I know you're hurt, but there are no sausages left. So can't you see, boys, you are blessed? 'Cause dating me is like a Cambridge term. By the 5th week you are completely burnt out, emotionally destroyed and suicidal. It's like a job at an accountancy firm. You think it's stable, steady income, but when something goes wrong, guess who is liable? And if you think I'm full of shit, get in line, I'll dice your dick. 'Cause I'm a fucking mental bitch. Dating me is like. But I wish I knew the reason I hate them so. Guess it's just another game. Call it bingo. 'Cause they keep calling out their numbers. No one cares. And you don't get to win me. Sit down in your chairs. 'Cause dating men is like an Oxford term. All spunk, no sperm. You think they learn, but all they do is leave you longing for a vaccine. Get it? Oxford. Dating men is like a cute heartburn. You wish you never swallowed. It's like COVID-19. Stay in quarantine. I mean it, stay safe. I guess the reason that I'm mad is all the boys I've ever had are just really fucking bad. Dating men is like losing the battle of Stalingrad. Dating men is like losing your cherry as an undergrad. Dating men is like Spotify with the ads. Dating men is like still better than dating me though.
So you wrote this recently you didn't write this while you were at Cambridge, did you? You've written this more recently than that.
Yeah, exactly. I wrote it, I think maybe like November last year. So yeah, kind of half a year ago. Yeah, it wasn't like whilst I was at university. It was because it was inspired by a specific relationship, really. That's how it kind of came about. So,
yeah. Were you always planning to release it, or was it sort of after you put it on TikTok that you then realised that everyone wanted you to release it?
Yeah, it's such a bizarre, crazy experience because it just literally got over 200,000 views in like 2 weeks or something on the video. And yeah, so many people were like, is this on Spotify? Release this on Apple Music. Like, I need this. And I was like, shit, like I haven't even recorded it. I haven't got any production on it. Like, can I do this? But I was like, I don't want to miss this boat. Like, there's a lot of people here, and do you know what I mean? It might be like a good time to capitalize on that interest. So yeah, I just went for it. I recorded it. Obviously I released an acoustic version because it would take too long to get it produced properly. Like literally did everything, the mix and master, recorded the music video, uploaded it to DistroKid, got all the cover artwork done in a really short time period. And it was stressful, but exciting. And yeah, I'm glad I had that experience, to be honest, because it showed me like, you don't have to plan things so carefully. Do you know what I mean? You can just sort of like whip it together and it's not that bad. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
People always shit on TikTok, but like it's amazing for like the how organic like people can go viral and get views, and you know have a need for, you know, songs can become a lot bigger than they would be just on your natural like reach. Know that for certain. What was the recording process like while being in lockdown and obviously in that shorter time period?
It was a bit stressful because there was obviously quite a strict deadline. To be honest, being in lockdown and the whole recording process, the producing process, it was the same for me because I've got a home sort of studio set up, so I would record at home anyway, and then I don't go into a studio with a producer in person normally. I guess partly because over the last year that hasn't been possible, but that's kind of all I know. Like even from the start when I started pursuing my career, you know, people are dotted all over the country, all over the world, so it's kind of working online for me is the norm. So it kind of, I was, you know, lucky because that was a familiar process for me. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But yeah, it was just more of like an intense short period. You know, I remember recording the backing vocals and my voice wasn't really that great that day, but I just had to do it. Do you know what I mean? I had no choice. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're certainly not the only person that's been releasing music from home studios and things like that. Have you got any more songs in the line that might be coming out soon that you're allowed to tell us about?
Yeah, I'm allowed to tell you. I don't have a label, so I make the rules. Yeah, so I've got my next single. It's called Jane. It's coming out at the end of June. So I've literally, the mix is basically finished. We're going to go into the master this week. I'm recording the music video in the next week. So yeah, that is, it's kind of like, actually, do you know what? I won't give too much away about like what it is and like the vibe and stuff. It's not really the same vein as Cambridge Term exactly, but it's kind of, there's similar elements, if that makes sense. But I write a lot of, I write a lot of music, and I was kind of like, you know, what order can I release this to make it make sense? But I haven't actually got that many songs recorded and produced already. So I was like, do you know what? I just need to keep releasing, like have a consistent stream so that people, you know, don't completely lose interest. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I hope people like it.
And it's along the like pop genre?
Yes, it is. It's all pop in my opinion. I guess this one kind of has like a rock pop ballad vibe, kind of like, I don't know, some people say like there's sort of like a Beatles vibe almost going on, but it's not like that different. Do you know what I mean? I think there is like consistency, you know, hopefully it still sounds like me, but I'm not singing in a British accent in this one, so I don't know if that will change people's perception. Interesting. You know, I'm just doing the standard like American sort of singing voice. But yeah.
Well, I'm sure everyone listening will be very excited to hear that come out. We'll link your Instagram below, so make sure you go and check it out and follow her so you don't miss it. So, I mean, my next question is about, you know, gigs. Have you ever done them before? Is it something you'd like to start doing eventually, or start again once lockdown's over and we're finally allowed out into the world more and more slowly?
Yeah, I actually have a gig coming up Thursday the 20th. So that's literally like less than a week now. So yeah, it's been so long. I have done gigs before. So I've done a lot of open mics, like just in my local area, which is like Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire. I did perform at some Mabels in Cambridge, like these really fancy grand like balls that students run, that was a really cool experience because there was more of an audience there and like a younger audience, you know what I mean, who were there kind of to have a good time rather than just like you're in the background of a pub. So yeah, but I do enjoy gigging. I do get a little bit stressed out in advance of it, like, oh gosh, I have to remember what my piano chords are for this song. I never write them down, so I have to relearn them each time. But no, I definitely will be doing some gigs. So the one on Thursday's in London, so I definitely want to basically branch out to London and do some open mics, do some gigs, and hopefully build more of a following through live music, because that's a really good way.
Definitely. Well, we'd love to come and see you sometime over the summer. We're literally trying to get to as many like gigs and concerts as we possibly can this year. After
awesome.
everyone missed out on them last year, we need to go to more.
Exactly.
Okay, last but not least, someone sees you in a bar or at the end of one of your gigs, would like to buy you a drink. Completely platonic, of course, after I don't think I think you might have scared some people off after the Dating Me is Like a Cambridge Term song. What drink should they buy you?
What drink? Do you know what? I don't normally drink alcohol.
Non-alcoholic?
Yeah, true, non-alcoholic. To be fair, I like an orange juice and vodka, or a cocktail, or what's a good drink? Peppermint tea. I can't refuse a peppermint tea, man. That's quite lame, but it's true.
Hey, no, go for it. Anyway, it was really great having you on today, and thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.